Ever wondered why the Big Apple is not as shiny as it used to be? Could it be due to the migration crisis? Let's dive into this. Firstly, what is a migrant? A migrant is an individual who moves from one place to another, usually crossing national or international borders in search of better living conditions, job opportunities, or safety. They could be driven by economic factors, social factors, or political stability or a lack thereof. Economic opportunities or the lack thereof are a major driver of migration. Individuals often move in search of better job opportunities or higher wages. For instance, a software engineer might move from a small town to a big city like New York for a higher-paying job at a tech giant. However, if these opportunities start to dwindle or if the cost of living far outweighs the income potential, these same individuals might start looking for greener pastures elsewhere. Social factors also play a significant role in migration. Quality of life, education, health services, and even social unrest can be catalysts for people to move. If a city's social fabric starts to unravel, with increasing crime rates or declining public services, its residents may start to look for safer, more stable environments. Political stability is another key factor. People often move away from regions with political unrest or conflict in search of safer havens. But what happens when the political climate in a previously stable region starts to heat up with increasing polarization and conflict? Its residents might start to consider moving to a more politically stable environment. Now let's link all this to New York. The city has been grappling with a number of issues: an escalating migration crisis, increasing lawlessness, a rising homeless population, a heavy tax burden, and a deeply divided political landscape. All these factors are interrelated and are contributing to a significant shift in the city's population and demographics. So, the migration crisis in New York is a complex issue that needs to be understood from multiple perspectives. It's not just about people moving in and out of the city, but also about the underlying issues that are driving these movements. This is just the tip of the iceberg, and there's much more to explore as we delve deeper into this topic. Yet, the migration crisis is just the tip of the iceberg. Delve deeper and you'll find lawlessness adding to the city's woes. New York, once a beacon of opportunity, is now grappling with a surge in crime rates. The city that never sleeps is staying awake for all the wrong reasons. Thefts and vandalism have seen a dramatic rise, with stores being looted and public property defaced. These incidents are not isolated, but rather symptomatic of a larger issue: the migration crisis. With an influx of people looking for new opportunities but finding themselves pushed into a corner, some turn to crime as a desperate attempt for survival. The connection between the migration crisis and the increase in crime is complex yet undeniable. The city's resources are stretched thin, leaving many to fend for themselves. This has led to a surge in lawlessness, a bitter pill for the Big Apple to swallow. Indeed, the lawlessness in New York paints a grim picture of the city's current state. Adding to the city's problems is the rising number of people without a roof over their heads. The homelessness crisis in New York is a stark reminder of the city's underlying issues. Over the past few years, we've seen a surge in the number of people living on the streets, a heartbreaking reality that is impossible to ignore. But why is this happening? A combination of sky-high rents, low wages, and a lack of affordable housing has left many New Yorkers with nowhere to go. This issue is closely tied to the migration crisis and lawlessness. As more people flock to the city in search of better opportunities, they're met with harsh realities. The struggle to find work, coupled with the rising cost of living, has driven many into a life of homelessness. This in turn contributes to the cycle of lawlessness, as desperation pushes individuals to extremes. Clearly, homelessness is another pressing issue that New York is grappling with. In the midst of all these challenges, New Yorkers are faced with a heavy tax burden. Let's break it down. There are three main types of taxes that residents in the Empire State have to shoulder. The first is the state income tax, which can range from 4% to nearly 9% depending on your income bracket. Take Jane, a hypothetical New Yorker with an average income of $65,000. Jane would fall into the 6.21% tax bracket. This means Jane would be paying approximately $4,000 just in state income tax annually. Then there's the federal income tax. This varies greatly depending on your income, but let's say Jane is taxed at a rate of 22% federally. That's a whopping $14,300 off her paycheck each year. But wait, there's more. Jane also has to pay into Social Security and Medicare, which is a flat rate of 7.65% for employees. That's an additional $4,975 each year. Now, let's not forget about sales tax. In New York, the combined state and local sales tax can be as high as 8.875%. So if Jane spends about $30,000 on taxable goods and services in a year, she'll pay another $2,662 in sales tax. Add it all up, and Jane is looking at over $26,000 in taxes each year. That's roughly 40% of her gross income. And Jane is just one example. Every New Yorker's tax situation will vary based on factors like income, marital status, and whether they have dependents. But one thing is clear. New York's tax system is progressive, meaning those who earn more pay more. So the tax burden on New Yorkers is indeed significant. It's a hefty price to pay, but it's part and parcel of living in one of the most vibrant, dynamic cities in the world. In response to these challenges, many residents are leaving the state, leading to a significant population shift. This exodus isn't just a mere trickle, it's a steady outflow of people seeking greener pastures. A large number of New Yorkers are packing up their lives, bidding adieu to the city that never sleeps and setting their sights on more affordable, less crowded states. But what's leading to this mass departure? The reasons are as diverse as the city's inhabitants. For some, it's the escalating cost of living. For others, it's the search for a better quality of life. Yet for a significant segment, it's the deepening political and sociological divide that's pushing them away. New York, like many other parts of the country, is grappling with a political chasm. The state is caught in a tug-of-war between progressive ideologies on one side and conservative viewpoints on the other. This polarization isn't just restricted to the political arena. It's spilling over into the societal fabric, causing rifts among friends, families, and communities. On one hand, there are those who champion progressive causes, advocating for social justice, climate change action, and comprehensive immigration reform. They believe in a more inclusive, equitable society and see New York as a beacon of these values. On the flip side, there are residents who lean towards conservative values, emphasizing fiscal responsibility, law and order, and traditional family values. They feel their voices are being drowned out in the cacophony of progressive rhetoric. This disparity in viewpoints is causing friction, leading to not just heated debates, but also a feeling of disconnect. For many, it seems like the middle ground is disappearing, making it increasingly difficult to have open, respectful dialogues. As residents navigate this ideological battlefield, they're faced with a daunting question. Is it worth sticking around? For an increasing number, the answer seems to be no. Hence, they're opting to leave, seeking places where they feel their views are better represented and respected. This population shift and political divide further complicate the issues that New York is facing. They're not just challenges, they're symptoms of a deeper malaise, one that requires not just policy changes but societal introspection and healing. Let's recap the core issues that New York is grappling with. The city's migration crisis is a significant challenge. People from different corners of the world, driven by various reasons, are flocking to New York. While this adds to the city's rich cultural diversity, it also puts a strain on the city's resources and infrastructure. The lawlessness and looting in New York is another pressing issue. The city that never sleeps is now kept awake by the fear of crime. Stores being looted and the general sense of insecurity is not only detrimental to the city's economy but also to its spirit. Homelessness is a stark reality of the Big Apple. Despite the city's glittering skyline, there are those who have no roof over their heads. This crisis is a reflection of the city's economic disparities and is a humanitarian issue that requires immediate attention. New Yorkers are burdened with significant taxes. From state tax to Social Security tax, the financial load can be overwhelming. This burden is leading to a population shift, with residents leaving the city in search of more affordable living conditions. This population shift is also causing a deep political and sociological divide. As more and more people leave the city, the balance of ideologies is getting disrupted. This division could lead to further unrest and instability if not addressed promptly. These issues are not isolated. They are interconnected, each one impacting the other. The migration crisis, for instance, contributes to the homelessness issue. The lawlessness affects the city's economy, leading to higher taxes. The high taxes, in turn, are causing a population shift, which is causing a political divide. It's clear that New York is facing multiple challenges, but with understanding and action, there's hope for the Big Apple yet.